Breast cancer awareness among young professionals when we return. Welcome back. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Recent studies have shown that breast cancer accounts for the highest number of cancer cases for Americans under 50. Women, of course, at the top of that list. With us now to talk more, Nicole Seagriff, president of the Pink Agenda, and Vice President Samantha Gokin-Niliatso are here with us on the couch. Good morning, and nice to meet both of you. Nicole, when did you get started, the Pink Agenda?
I actually got involved about 10 years ago with my first breast cancer diagnosis.
You're a survivor?
I'm a survivor, a two-time survivor, actually. So I had a reoccurrence about 3 years ago, but happy to report that I'm doing well, had successful treatment, and happy to do events like this that really just show the positivity of what can happen with early detection and treatment.
Madam Vice President, your connection to the Pink Agenda?
Oh, well, I was diagnosed 10 years ago, and after my diagnosis, which I credit to early detection and knowing my risk, I really wanted to reach out to young people and talk to them about how they can be aware and vigilant. And so I found the organization, the Pink Agenda, which has really connected us to an amazing community of young professionals and really given us the ability to show that we could be aware as young people, but also raise money for important vital research.
Nicole, I know better than to ask about ages, but I'm just going to say both of you, I would imagine, were exceptionally younger when you found out about these diagnoses. Nicole, you first. Was there ever a sense of, wait, is this an older American's disease? Why me? I'm of a certain age. You hop
I think
right
that's such an important topic, and I'm really glad you're approaching it. We're always happy to talk about our age when it comes to this because we think it's really important and powerful to highlight that young women are being diagnosed with breast cancer, and it's a little trickier to screen and to really go through that process when you are younger, and guidelines suggest screening at older ages. So we think it's really important to talk about how I was 26 when I was diagnosed, Sam was barely 30, and we just really want to let people know that they can be empowered to have conversations with their healthcare providers and talk about it even if they are younger.
Sam, you're barely 30. How did you process?
Barely 30. Well, my journey with breast cancer started not when I was 30, but when I was 7. My mother was diagnosed when she was 33 years old with inflammatory breast cancer. And that was 2 weeks after she had my younger brother. So with a diagnosis at 33, having a 2-week-old, a 3-year-old, and a 5-year-old, I couldn't imagine what was going through my mother's head at that point. But as a young person, and having lost her when she was just 35, my dad always instilled in me the importance of early detection, understanding your risk. And so from a young age, I started to see a breast specialist. And at age 23, which was 10 years before her diagnosis, I started getting regular mammograms and sonograms. And it was through that regular screening process where I actually had to advocate for those screenings because I was younger than most people were getting mammograms. Young women generally don't get them before 35, and it was hard to get scheduling. But once I got in and I advocated for my own health, I was able to find that I did develop breast cancer early, and I was diagnosed with stage 0 breast cancer just 4 months before my wedding day. But I felt it was empowering to know that the vigilance that I had and the proactive steps I took for that early detection really did save me from more progressive breast cancer.
Nicole and Samantha, you're both 20, still trying to figure out life, and you know, we don't have it figured out by our 20s. How did you process it? How did you clearly say, I'm not going to be a victim here, I'm going to get in front of this?
I think Sam and I are really aligned in this answer in that we found a lot of meaning through the Pink Agenda. So the Pink Agenda is a nonprofit that's dedicated to raising money, raising awareness, and raising a little hell in the process among young professionals for breast cancer research. And so I think we know that it's today's generation that will hopefully find tomorrow's cure, and that's what the Pink Agenda is all about. And so I think every activity we plan, every fundraiser we do, we find such meaning and healing in our own journey, and we feel like we've been really able to turn it into something positive that we hope will just have a ripple effect for future generations.
Samantha mentioned that it was a part of her family. Was this also?
Yes. So we always say breast cancer has been a part of my life since before I was born, and my grandmother died when my mom was only 4 of breast cancer. My aunt died at 47. My mom was diagnosed when I was in high school. And so knowing this, I was able to go for genetic testing and found that I had a BRCA2 mutation, which put me at higher risk of developing breast cancer. And in some ways, that was a positive thing, an empowering thing, because I was able to meet with a high-risk oncologist who ordered baseline testing, and it was through that baseline testing that I found out that I had an early-stage breast cancer.
Samantha, you, Nicole, the Pink Agenda, you all are specifically trying to reach a certain generation, a certain age group. What's been the response? I would imagine with this generation, it can be a little I'm from Krypton. I can handle anything, but just please tell us about the response with the people you're trying to get the message across to.
Young people do think they're invincible. And you know what? In some cases, we are strong and we can take on anything. But we do need to arm ourselves with that knowledge to take on things. And so with the Pink Agenda, we focus on two things. We want to raise awareness amongst young professionals of the disease, but also personal awareness, to be breast aware, to understand what is my risk, where do I go for treatment, who do I talk to about understanding when I start screening, how do I start screening. Our organization has our education committee that puts on events like our TPA Talks Educational Symposium. We visit women's organizations, corporations, sororities, schools, and have a speaker series where we talk about the basics of breast cancer. And having that knowledge is the first step in being breast aware and being able to create healthy habits that will lead to a lifetime of health. But also, young professionals have such an ability to make a huge impact in research. And we always talk about partying with a purpose, and we are an active community, an active young population that is engaged in so many activities. Well, why can't we take those activities and turn them into fundraising efforts for such vital breast cancer research that helps us with early detection and treatments and things that will help people survive and thrive with this disease? Young people can make a huge difference if engaged, and that's what we try to do at the Pink Agenda.
We try to create these places and spaces where people can have fun, but can also be a philanthropist and give back and educate themselves. And there's no bigger win for us than when someone says they made an appointment with their healthcare provider, or they changed maybe their alcohol patterns or something proactive for their health. That just gives us such satisfaction and feeling like we're really doing what we meant to do.
Nicole, we carefully worded in the intro that you were trying to reach young Americans. We didn't specifically address women in that sentence till the end because it's not just women.
Yes.
And we need to unpack this because a lot of people tend to think that this is just a female gender disease. That is not the case.
Really appreciate you bringing that up. So we know the statistics as they are right now is that 1 in 8 women will be diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime, but we know that 1 in 833 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, and we think that's really important. We want men, people born, genetically male, to be able to screen, and if they have anything that comes up, that they can feel free to talk to their healthcare providers and get the care that they need and deserve. So it's a really important topic.
We're so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
I'm glad you came to say hello. Stay right there.